Lesson 42. God is my strength. Vision is his gift. The idea for today combines two very powerful thoughts, both of major importance. It also sets forth a cause and effect relationship that explains why you cannot fail in your efforts to achieve the goal of the course. You will see because it is the will of God. It is his strength, not your own, that gives you power. And it is his gift, rather than your own, that offers vision to you. God is indeed your strength, and what he gives is truly given. This means that you can receive it anytime and anywhere, wherever you are, and in whatever circumstance you find yourself. Your passage through time and space is not at random. You cannot but be in the right place at the right time. Such is the strength of God. Such are his gifts. We will have 2 3 to 5 minute practice periods today. One as soon as possible after you wake, and another as close as possible to the time you go to sleep. It is better, however, to wait until you can sit quietly by yourself at a time when you feel ready than it is to be concerned with the time as such. Begin these practice periods by repeating the idea for today slowly, with your eyes open, looking about you. Then close your eyes and repeat the idea again, even slower than before. After this, try to think of nothing except the thoughts that occur to you in relation to the idea for the day. You might think, for example, vision must be possible. God gives truly. Or, God's gifts to me must be mine because he gave them to me. Any thought that is clearly related to the idea for today is suitable. You may in fact be astonished at the amount of course-related understanding some of your thoughts contain. Let them come without censoring unless you find your mind is merely wandering, and you have let obviously irrelevant thoughts intrude. You may also reach a point where no thoughts at all seem to come to mind. If such interferences occur, open your eyes and repeat the thought once more while looking slowly about. Close your eyes, repeat the idea once more, and then continue to look for related thoughts in your mind. Remember, however, that active searching for relevant thoughts is not appropriate for today's exercises. Try merely to step back and let the thoughts come. If you find this difficult, it is better to spend the practice period alternating between slow repetitions of the idea, with eyes open, then with eyes closed, than it is to strain to find suitable thoughts. There is no limit on the number of short practice periods that would be beneficial today. The idea for the day is a beginning step in bringing thoughts together and teaching you that you are studying a unified thought system in which nothing is lacking that is needed and nothing is included that is contradictory or irrelevant. The more often you repeat the idea during the day, the more often you will be reminding yourself that the goal of the course is important to you and that you have not forgotten it. God is my strength. Vision is his gift. I want to talk to you today about the gifts of God. We have been learning in the workbook thus far that God goes with us wherever we go, that God is in our mind, that we are very holy, that we are the inherent holiness that is God. We also have the gifts of God within us that we can access at any time, at any place. This lesson says we're always in the right place at the right time because God is our strength, because we have been bestowed with the gifts of God. We just forget that we have them. We forget who we are, and therefore we forget that we have inherited these gifts and have access to these gifts, and we forget to use them. We forget to claim them, and we forget to use them. We've also talked about how God created us as an idea within his mind, that we are more of him. He can only create more of himself because he is all there is. There's nothing else. So he can only create that which is like him. We have all of the attributes of God within us. because of that. And the only difference is that he created us. We did not create him. So God is holy, we are holy. God is strong, we are strong. God is wise, we can be wise. God is love, we are love. God is powerful, we are powerful. God is creative, we are created to be creative and to use those gifts to express love into a world that so desperately needs more love. When I think about that relationship between the Father, the Creator, and the sonship, all of us together as one, the created, and the attributes, the gifts that we have inherited as a result of that relationship of our Father, I can't help but think about my own family and my mother and father and the attributes that I inherited that people have often told me remind me of my mother and father. Both of my parents are brunettes. My dad had the red facial hair. My mother's sister, who might be watching, has red hair. So that was an attribute that was spread throughout the family that I obviously inherited. How my mother was such a brilliant student, loved reading, loved learning, was very intelligent, and I definitely inherited that attribute from her of reading and learning. My dad was a jokester. He was very humorous. I think I get my sense of humor and my some of my personality from him in that way. He was also very creative. He could have been an engineer. He was very handy. I get a lot of that from him. My creative, hands-on, masculine ability to have that follow through and fix things and solve things in creative ways. I like to say it was like MacGyver. Who remembers MacGyver? I had to watch it because Dad watched it. So I like to think that I inherited all of those positive attributes from my family, from my mother, from my father. And we have these divine, sacred gifts that we have inherited because of who we are from our Father. I love that this lesson reiterates the availability of God to you with the perfect, remember that show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And there were those lifelines and you could, phone a friend. Guess what? You can phone God at any time and have a conference call. It says you can't not be, but at the right place at the right time when you realize His gifts are truly given, that they're always there when you choose to tap in. We just don't tap in. We just don't attune ourselves to that frequency so that we can't hear clearly, and then we have limited resources. But God's gifts are unlimited resources. They are inherent in who we are, and that we have access to that at any time we remember that and ask and listen. It says these gifts are available to you at any time, any place, wherever you are, whatever the circumstance you're going through. That, it's really reiterating this is a toolkit for you to use no matter what, the universal application and the eternal, non-changing, unalterable consistency and certainty of these principles. That these can really be your North Star, a touchstone of truth in your life, foundational principles that you can rely on to guide you no matter what's going on. And that, to me, the more I've worked it, the more I've used it and applied it, has given me relief and inner peace, safety, security. I also love the aspect in this lesson of, you can't fail. You cannot fail. Because God's gifts are truly given. This elusive vision that we're trying to realign with, it's really not as difficult as it seems. Life is difficult. Experiencing the world is difficult. There's a new horror every 5 minutes, but that's the nature of the world. The nature of God is you can be lifted above all of that, that there's always a solution. There's always an answer to every quote unquote problem the world throws at you. And you just have to get into the practice of asking and accessing the gifts that God has given you that are right there at your fingertips in your next thought. What also comes to mind for me in this lesson is how God gives truly, God gives eternally, God gives completely, God gives without expectation. God gives. God creates, God gives. To just give love, to create that which is eternal, holy, beautiful, true. That there's nothing you can do that would alter that gift, that would piss God off, that he would take away that gift from you, that he would punish you. Sin in A Course in Miracles means missing the mark. It just means that you are out of alignment and cannot access those eternal gifts that are there. God wants you to use them. That's why you were created. But we have to tune back in, and then we can use them. God is my strength. Vision is his gift. It's a relief to know that at any time I can tap into that eternal connection that's within my mind and access God, love, peace. It's such a relief, and that everyone else can as well. I'll see you tomorrow.